We've already brought you our first review of the second generation Kia Seltos. Formerly, we drove the turbo petrol engine with the 7-speed DCT gearbox, as well as the turbo diesel with the 6-speed torque converter automatic. With us today is the Seltos IVT, which pairs a 1.5-litre naturally aspirated petrol engine and a CVT gearbox. Question is, could this be the Seltos for you? While we've already covered the second generation Kia Seltos in great detail, here's a quick overview of what the IVT is like outside and inside. And first things first, the IVT is no longer restricted to a mid-spec variant as was the case on the last gen Seltos. There are 9 trims to choose from spread across Tech Line, GT Line and X Line styling packages. Featured here is the Seltos IVT in GTX A form, and it looks no different to a comparable turbo DCT or diesel 80. The new Seltos looks substantial and stands proud on its 18-inch rims. Frontal styling is a bit fussy to my eyes, but there's a slickness to the sides and tail end. Inside, connected screens are new age elements, and thankfully the dash also retains physical buttons for climate, audio and touchscreen shortcuts. Fit and finish is very impressive. In terms of comfort, average-sized adults will like the stylish front seats, though larger passengers will find the seats a touch narrow and shoulder support lacking. Space at the back is a highlight with great legroom as well as enough shoulder room to host 3 adults in reasonable comfort. Features-wise, this GTX A packs in lots with tech items like 12.3-inch digital dials, a slick 12.3-inch touchscreen, a crisp 360-degree camera and a Bose sound system. Comfort features include dual-zone climate control, ventilated front seats, a powered driver's seat with memory, an auto-tilt function for the outside mirrors, a panoramic sunroof and sunshades for the rear windows. Curiously, an air purifier and head-up display that were offered on the last Seltos are not part of the package here. Now to the heart of the matter. The Seltos IVT pairs a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder 1.5-litre petrol engine to a CVT gearbox. The engine makes 115 horsepower and 144 Newton meters. 115 horsepower isn't a big figure for an SUV of this size, but that is precisely the beauty of this gearbox because it masks any weaknesses of the engine with very smooth power delivery. You get power when you want it, and that makes all the difference to how you perceive this engine and its power. You won't have any trouble keeping up with the flow of traffic whether you're in the city or out on the highway. But the thing with this engine is that it really rewards those who drive with a light foot or drivers who have a relaxed driving style. Drive as such and you'll find the revs stay very low, under 2000 RPM for most of your journey. Engine noise as a result is also low and you get a very calming experience. Then there's the smoothness of the gearbox itself. It is absolutely seamless at low speeds, and that's what makes it so well suited to slow speed urban driving. A Seltos DCT won't be quite as smooth in the same low speed driving environment. But you can't talk of CVTs without a mention of the rubber band effect. Press down hard on the accelerator pedal and you will get that rubber band effect that CVTs are notorious for. The engine will groan, but it never gets as loud as, say, a Honda Elevate CVT's engine under hard acceleration. Yes, there is a rapid rise in engine speed, but that rapid rise in RPM is also accompanied with a good build of speed. The gearbox will also work its way through 8 steps or simulated gear shifts, and that makes this whole experience feel all the more natural. You also have the option to take manual control via the paddle shifters or the gear selector to work between the 8 steps or simulated gear shifts. In many ways, this gearbox is closer to a torque converter automatic than a typical CVT, and that's a very good thing. What's unusual is that even if you get into 8th gear and kick down hard on the accelerator pedal, the system will not downshift on its own. On the flip side, if you reach the red line in manual mode, it will upshift. Drive modes do help fine-tune the experience. You get 3 drive modes, so there's Eco, Normal and Sport, and you can sense the difference between the 3 drive modes. So say when you're driving at 60 kph in Eco mode, the engine will be spinning at about 1500 rpm. Switch to Sport mode and the revs will immediately jump to about 2500 rpm. Sport mode keeps the engine on the boil and it feels readier, more alert, and that's something you'd want when you want to make a quick overtake. Kickdown acceleration is decent, though among naturally aspirated rivals, a Honda Elevate is marginally quicker. Performance, however, would be clearly down on a Seltos Turbo DCT, not only in kickdown acceleration but in flat-out runs too. We recorded a 0 to 100 kph time of 13.07 seconds, which is a long way off the sub 10 second time a Turbo DCT can manage. Talking numbers, where the IVT should have the edge over the DCT is in fuel economy. Kia hasn't released official fuel economy numbers for any version of the new Seltos as yet. However, we did put the Seltos IVT through our fuel efficiency loop, managing figures of 10.3 kpl in city driving and 14.2 kpl out on the highway. The figures are satisfactory for this class of SUV and better than what you'd get on a Seltos Turbo DCT. Of the other things, I said this when I drove the Seltos for the first time a few weeks back in Bangalore, and I'll say it again. Ride comfort has really taken a big step up over the first gen model. Potholes and bumps are dealt with in a much more polished manner and you feel much less off the road below you. Ride comfort from a weakness formerly has gone on to become a strength. The Seltos' steering is feather light. Parkings and U-turns need very little effort at the steering, but on the flip side, the experience is also a bit disconnected at higher speeds. Switching to Sport mode does add more weight and connection. Standard safety kit includes 6 airbags, front and rear disc brakes, stability control, a tire pressure monitor and ISOFIX child seat mounts. An A in the trim name symbolizes ADAS. The suite of ADAS functions includes auto emergency braking, lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, rear cross traffic alert and more. The ADAS features work smoothly and read chaotic Indian conditions well. However, the system works best on well-marked roads. The new Kia Seltos hasn't been rated for crash safety as yet and doesn't have a global NCAP or Bharat NCAP score. Prices for the Kia Seltos IVT start at 13.39 lakh rupees ex-showroom and top off at 19.49 lakh rupees. And therein lies the conundrum. The IVT undercuts equivalent versions of the Turbo DCT by 50 to 80,000 rupees, which isn't a massive difference at this price point. Thing is, while there is a saving to be had by opting for an IVT, many will see the premium for the Turbo DCT and its substantial 45 horsepower power advantage as money well spent. If you enjoy driving and will use your Seltos for more than just urban commuting, the Seltos Turbo DCT is the way to go. But if chock-a-block traffic and congested roads are everyday battles, this smooth operating Seltos IVT makes for a sensible pick.